This took place about 3 weeks back. It was the morning time, and my girlfriend Alyssa and I were going on a day trip about 2 hours away. But shortly after we left, maybe 5 minutes into the drive, Alyssa remembered something and asked me to stop. There was a Dollar Tree right off the road coming up, so I pulled off. We were in an area with quite a few stores, but I felt like the Dollar Tree would be the fastest in and out, so I pulled into the parking lot and parked right in front of the building. Alyssa said that she would just run inside really quick and would be right back, so I stayed inside of the car and kept it running while she went in. I was guessing that she would be out within 2 or 3 minutes, seeing as she only had to get one thing. So I sat there and just looked around the parking lot. It was a beautiful sunny day, and things seemed pretty calm. However, within probably 30 seconds, I noticed the automatic doors of the Dollar Tree opening. A man walked out who was wearing a backwards baseball hat, and he started walking on the sidewalk out front of the store. He put a cigarette into his mouth, and then he looked over at me as he passed by my car. But instead of continuing to walk down the sidewalk, the man stopped and then headed over towards me. He went right up to my driver's window and I rolled it down about halfway. I really didn't know what this man asked me if I had some money for him or if I would give him a ride. I told the guy no, I was in a hurry. The man did not respond, but then tried opening my driver's door. Luckily, it was locked. Now, I wasn't quite sure what to do. I rolled my window back up, but I couldn't drive away because Alyssa was still inside. I was hoping that she would come out soon. The man stayed by my driver's door and started knocking on the window almost as soon as I had closed it. I told the man to go away, but he did not. The guy started getting a little bit aggressive, calling me names and telling me to come out of the car. I tried to just ignore it. Then the man took a punch at my window. Luckily, it didn't break or anything. It was just after this that I saw the doors open to the Dollar Tree out of the corner of my eye. I looked over, and Alyssa was walking out. She began walking to my car, but I saw the man finally leave my car only to start approaching her. I didn't know what he was planning to do, if he was going to try to ask her for money as well or what, but I didn't want him going near her. I opened up my driver's door and left the car. I shouted to the man to come back, and I may have called him a name as well. He stopped approaching Alyssa, who was about halfway to the car and now probably very confused. He turned around and started walking back over to me. The man looked angry, but at the same time, almost happy. It was like he was looking forward to fighting me. And as he approached, I told Alyssa to get in the car. I sprinted back around to my driver's door and got inside while the man chased after me. Alyssa sprinted to the passenger side door and was able to get inside easily. After we both made it in, we locked our doors, and the man was now directly in front of my car, about to reach my driver's door. I was able to lock it just in time. After the man tried the door, he started to repeatedly punch at my window. I quickly started the car and backed out of the parking space, trying to maneuver around the man who was still pounding on the window. Alyssa was visibly shaken but managed to call the police while I focused on getting us out of there safely. As we sped away, the man stood in the parking lot yelling after us, but we kept going until we were a safe distance away. We explained everything to the police when they arrived, and they assured us they would look into it. It was a terrifying experience, but thankfully, neither of us was physically harmed.
For anybody that doesn't know, this is a dollar store. Actually, the one that I work at is $1.25 5, but you get the point. So this is an event that took place 2 months ago. I'm a female and a part-time employee. I work all kinds of different shifts, and it's pretty random. It's really whenever I'm needed, and sometimes I work mornings, other times I work into the night. I'm also trained to do multiple things in the store, like be a cashier and do other tasks. One day I was working a Saturday shift. I think I was working from 1 p.m. until 9 p.m. When I got to work, I was a cashier for a while, but that was only for the first couple of hours. For the next part of my shift, we had 2 other employees working, so they went on the registers, and I did some other tasks. We were kind of busy, but the store was not too crowded or anything. I remember that probably around 4 p.m., I had a bad interaction with a man who had entered the store. I had been stocking a shelf in the back and did that for maybe 5 minutes. Then I started walking away when I was done. As I was walking down an aisle near a back corner, there was a man standing in that aisle. I didn't really notice him until he stopped me when I was walking past. He said that he needed help with something at first, but it didn't take long before the man started to say some inappropriate things to me. It started by him basically trying to pick me up, but I wasn't interested. I tried to shake it off, but the man continued talking. It was making me uncomfortable, and I told him to stop. The man was pretty short, had dark hair, and had a somewhat skinny build. I didn't really feel too much in danger because there were other people in the store and my co-workers there as well. I started just walking away from the guy, but he began to follow me. He was walking and still talking, but talking quietly. He was now telling me not to walk away from him and asking me what my problem was. I walked over to a co-worker, and the man continued. I told the man to stop louder now and told him to leave me alone. When he did not go away, my co-worker got involved. At this point, the man finally left and then walked out of the store. I was really glad that he was finally gone. Every now and then, we would get really strange customers, but I had never dealt with anything like that before. I really couldn't believe it. After that, though, I went back to work and continued. The next few hours, I stood on one of the shelves. I was maybe 2 or 3 minutes in when I heard something to my right. There were these two kind of large boxes in the aisle. I'm not sure exactly what had been in them, maybe a bunch of toy balls or something like that, but it was almost empty. I looked over and then saw the same man from earlier emerging from one of those boxes. I couldn't believe my eyes. He had been hiding inside of it, but before I could do anything, the man jumped out of the box, all while looking right at me. He then started to walk towards me, and I moved away. The guy had to be insane or something. I backed away but was now in the complete corner of the store. I asked the guy what he was doing. He did not say anything but kept moving closer. There was a bunch of shopping baskets stacked nearby, and I grabbed one of them. As the man got within 5 feet of me, I used it as a shield against him in case he kept coming closer, and I held out the basket. I told him very loudly to leave me alone, and he told me to be quiet. I was hoping that my co-worker could hear me. The man was still standing there with just a shopping basket between us. He asked me to leave the store with him, and I said no. As he continued to try to persuade me, I heard my co-worker approaching. When she entered the aisle, the man told her to go away. My co-worker then threatened to call the police. The man took a few steps away from me and towards my co-worker. We both told him to leave over and over. Finally, the man walked out of the store. He walked along the sidewalk out front and then went out of sight. Of course, we were both worried that he would come back or was waiting for us outside. My co-worker watched by the door, and I went around the store and realized that there were no other shoppers inside. We decided to lock the doors then and close early to be safe. We called the police, and they came out, and we told them everything about the guy. They looked around a little bit, but he was gone. After that, both of us went home. We also reported the man to our other co-workers, and he got banned from the store. Luckily, I haven't seen him since, and I'm hoping that he never comes back.